It's Saturday night at Broadway. What are you talking about, John? It's Wednesday. You fool.
Hello and welcome on into movie news here at MBE on this Wednesday night here in the UK. Yes. I am one of your co-hosts, Stephen John McLaughlin. Our other co-host is John C. Walsh. We'd just like to thank you once again for joining us here on our YouTube channel and of course our Twitch stream. Hopefully we're still on Twitch. It's been very quiet over there of late.
Bump myself down a bit here because I'm looking.
You're looking very tall there.
Yeah.
I'm looking very small.
If I grown.
John.
Liverpool Liverpool FC. I'll then just leave that in there.
Yeah, I loved Cracker when it was on. I loved Robbie Coltrane. I loved that episode as well with Robert Carlyle, who played obviously a troubled Liverpool fan, obviously troubled from the Hillsborough disaster. John, that was a great series. That I have to try and track that down. I loved that. Not seen Robbie since probably the Harry Potter stuff, maybe.
Yeah, the reunion. He was there. I'm sure at the reunion turn of the year.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
20-year anniversary.
Yeah, he's a great guy, great actor as well.
Yeah, he's a good guy, a big guy. My dog's farted again. He always seems to leave it.
Just on time, isn't it?
Yeah.
But
until we are doing
content.
Then he decides that's my bowels working.
Yeah, I know. That's I'm just letting you know that I'm here, guys. I'm here as well.
I'm going to show you audio, Steve.
Get me a mic. Get me some headphones. I'm here as well. Maybe one day.
Steve,
maybe
you
one
talk
day.
more sense than me at times.
I don't know about that.
Right.
I don't know about that.
Diesel time.
But anyway, we're doing one topic tonight, folks, because we are going to be recording Andor. I forgot what it's called. Episode 6 on the back of this. We finally caught up with Andor, thanks to Disney Plus releasing 3 episodes at once. It set us back.
Let's see if it's going up.
And
stop loading.
Episode 4. Did that say
5?
5.
Should be 5.
Episode 4 it says.
I'll change that right now.
Okay.
It's not going up anyway just now. The thumbnail's not ready.
But hopefully go up, fingers crossed. We're right up to speed and we're going to be doing episode 6 after we do this show. But we're talking about Kang the Conqueror, John. We're talking about Ant-Man 3. Ant-Man 3 Kang variant. Details tease arrival of MCU's Conqueror. This is coming in from Screen Rant, John, and the version of Kang audiences will see in Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania is described as a warrior variant of the menacing Marvel villain. When will we see the actual one then? That's the thing that's pissing me off.
I'm a fighting man.
But this is coming in. There's actually a bit here. I think it's speaking with Men's Health magazine, strength and conditioning coach Jamie Sawyer, who worked with Majors during his Ant-Man.
Is that the guy that slipped him the nudge, nudge, wink, wink?
Yeah.
To get him into nudge, nudge, wink, wink shape.
Yeah,
lots of chicken and broccoli.
Yeah, we hope so. We hope it's legal chicken and legal broccoli, but
didn't realise you got broccoli in liquid form.
Yeah. You could make it a smoothie, I think, probably. You know, people
that's what they're doing.
Shed more detail on the type of character this Kang variant is. The coach described the movie's iteration of Kang as a warrior. Majors also discussed how Kang is different from other MCU villains, and this is what he said. This is what Major said. He went, Killmonger, Thanos and Kang are not related, and that's good for the MCU. That's diversity. Fucking right, they're not related. Strange family that would be.
Is that Star Wars you're taking a pop at there? What's your name? Palpatine, I mean Skywalker, I mean Palpatine, I mean Skywalker.
What's your name?
How many other fucking families are out in this galaxy? Just pick a name.
Yeah, John, I never
diversify.
Even thought of that. You're absolutely right. That's where he's coming from. But this chap Sawyer says, Jamie Sawyer says he is the warrior version of Kang. So there was a focus on what that warrior would look like. who's been around through the ages and has developed every type of combat skill. This is interesting stuff, by the way. I like this. It was about making him look like an imposing figure. John,
I got
Jonathan,
that.
Jonathan Majors is an imposing figure.
Yes, yeah. He's a big
We've
boy.
seen him in a few films now, and certainly, obviously, the one that stands out in terms of MCU related is the Loki appearance at the very end, another variant, but just having that presence on screen, you felt it just with his voice, and then obviously his face being revealed. John, what's your thoughts on this warrior version?
Stephen, this is what we need. We need I know you perhaps don't agree with me when I say this, but I like the exploration of this very different kind of villain in the MCU, where you can have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 versions of the one character popping up. That's a mindfuck, Stephen, because you can have a sort
Not if you've seen Multiplicity with Michael Keaton. It's not.
I've not seen
For
it.
comedic value, that's how I can't get this out of my head.
Well,
I'm
there we go.
thinking.
Well, I want you to divulge on that, because I've not actually seen Multiplicity, but it
He
sounds.
clones himself.
Oh, there you
And
go.
there's different versions of him. A
Different
comedy
versions.
side, a serious one.
There was
a
one
very-
with Paul Rudd as well, wasn't there? There was a Netflix TV show
yeah.
where he went to some spa day and ended up splitting.
Yeah.
And there was a sort of permanently depressed, couldn't feel any emotion or happy emotion. And then you had this vibrant, outgoing, happier than fucking the happiest thing
Well,
on earth.
that's the thing, John, you're talking
It's
about.
a nice
that
way to
kind of
explore it though,
crossover.
Stephen.
Yeah, the crossover of different characteristics from the one person. Do you think they'll do that with Kang?
Well, I mean, he's always been. I mean, Steve, as you know, we've not delved as much into the comic books as perhaps some channels on here. We have always been more focused on the film side of things, hence why we're called Movie Burner Entertainment. We are a movie channel.
And we had a show
Primarily.
called Heroes.
Heroes. So we have always primarily been movie, what hits the silver screen, or a streaming service.
Yeah.
But my initial sort of research into the Kang the Conqueror character threw up right away this sort of crusading figure, time travelling figure, who likes to go back to historic battles and take all of the acclaim for himself.
Yeah.
Win the battle, change the events of time, or the course of time, change events, so he can be painted as the victor. So he's this very narcissistic, self-absorbed, also highly skilled character,
Yeah.
person. And exploring this warrior side in Ant-Man, it's an interesting movie to pick it,
Yeah.
or to pick to actually explore this version of him. You'd think they would save this for something a little bit more grandiose, because Ant-Man has traditionally, and look, I've spoke about this at length,
Yeah.
Steve, and I love Scott Lang, I love
Yeah.
the movies. They've always been the butt of the joke, the least performing at the box office of any sub-franchise within the Marvel Universe. They've all been very good. The
Yeah.
first one was a great little origin story, had brilliant humour in there, lots of little side characters, like, so if I think it's Michael Pena.
Yeah.
You had David Dasmalki and that crew. And then you had the villains, which are always colourful. I always forget the bald chap's name. It was in House of Cards.
Yeah. Corey,
Yellow Jacket.
Corey, can't remember his second name. Corey something.
I'll never get it. I will
Corey
never.
No, I can't. I'll look it up. That's what I'm better doing.
But they always bring humour. There's
Yeah.
always a something different. I thought the second Ant-Man movie in many ways actually outperformed the first, with the Ghost character who's looking to come back, it looks like, potentially in Thunderbolt. And Walton Goggins was in there.
Stoll.
Corey Stoll, that's the one, yeah. Obviously you had the little FBI guy who was a thorn in the side of Scott.
Yeah, yeah.
They're always dabbling with different things in these movies. They're almost like experimental versions of other movies. The other movies are more serious. They take themselves far too serious. The likes of your Captain Marvel's, obviously Captain America, he's a character. That's like a microcosmic look at
Jimmy
Steve
Woo.
Rogers, Jimmy Woo.
Yeah, Randall Park. Yeah.
Randall Park, that was a brilliant character.
Yeah. I liked him.
I want to see him come
Wonder.
back.
Yeah.
But Stephen, they've always took themselves very serious, despite all the Marvel humour, the colourful stuff that's happening on the screen. Still, there's a degree of seriousness in these movies. Ant-Man has never struck me as being overly serious. He's always a bit of a joke, even in the universe. He's described as this sort of bumbling fool. This guy's a fucking engineer.
Yep.
He's not a fool. He's not bumbling. He's a very smart man who's hit rock bottom in life. In events of...
It annoyed me in Endgame when...
He was treated as a joke.
Yeah, with Iron Man. I felt when they went to his house and he was just belittling the whole time. I hope your whole plan's not based on the plot of Back to the Future, Scott.
Yeah.
It kind of annoyed me. I was like, don't look down on fucking Scott Lang. this guy's a clever guy.
And he
actually came up with the idea. He might not have been able to execute it. He didn't have the intellect to do that, but he had something in his head that
the quantum
he
realm.
knew that could work if they got the right people involved in it.
And Stephen, they're expanding out with this idea of the quantum realm being key, and with Scott being this sort of central figure within it. He's not the all-seeing, all-hearing version of characters in his own fucking movie franchise when it comes to technical excellence, being able to use this quantum realm as a conduit into another fucking timeline, universe, whatever. That's always been Hank Pym.
Yeah.
Even Janet and Hope one time, they seem to know more than Scott, but nonetheless, man, this is an interesting choice, I feel, to pick this particular movie. I'd love to know the rationale behind it from Kevin Feige, why he's chose to give this multi-movie all-hearing villain
maybe
a
it's
bit of gravitas.
Yeah, I think that's what it might be.
I think he's earned it.
I think so as well.
And Paul Rudd's a brilliant guy off screen. He's just that he never
6
ages.
years he's been doing this role now. Obviously, first appearance was in Civil War, I think.
Yeah.
Or was it? Was it Ant-Man first and then Civil War? I can't remember the order of play, but
that may be Spider-Man I'm thinking
it
about.
has been about 6 years now, John, and you're absolutely right. When you bring in, I think Michelle Pfeiffer's going to have a big role in this as well. I've a sense of it. I think they've just been building up to this character, the Janet Van Dyne.
Well, there was talk that she was the one that was stuck in the quantum realm. They went to rescue her in the second movie. There was talk of him perhaps being trapped, or them being trapped once again in the quantum realm, and they have to find a way around, and that's when they bump into Kang.
Interestingly enough, John,
He's in the
Bill
quantum
Murray is in this film as well. It's going to be interesting to see who Bill Murray's playing.
He's in this movie? Wow.
Also, Corey Stoll is rumoured to be coming back as Darren Cross according to IMDb, so it'll be interesting to see how they do that. But yeah, I mean, I think that's the reason, John. I think Ant-Man deserves I'm not going to say a better villain. I think so far they've done okay, but they've been more ground level. Ant-Man is an Avenger. He's part of the Avengers. He is taking on bigger and badder villains since his own film, so I think it's only right that he's given a chance to go head to head or toe to toe with a larger than life villain this time. And
he's worked with Steve Rogers and Tony Stark and big personalities. He's learnt from them how to be a better sort of superhero figure. Stephen, in terms of Kang, Jonathan Majors is just a dynamite actor. He's brilliant, and I'm so pleased to see him get the chance to flex his muscles with this character. As I said 5-10 minutes ago or something now, that's why it's such an interesting concept for me, this multivariant character where you're seeing different versions of him. You've got this sort of wizened, brow-beaten version we got in Loki. You've got the warrior version. You've maybe got a holier than thou fucking guru version, almost like Guruji from Sacred Games type version. It allows him to explore the character really in depth. We get loads of different sides to this weird, wacky personality. Nuances,
I think
that will allow him to really flex his acting muscles.
Jonathan Majors actor to pull that off as well. Someone that's got that talent. We saw him in the Five Bloods. I think that might have been the first film. I'm not sure if that was
the first one I seen him in.
And he just stood out to me. I just thought, who is this young guy? He's so...
And that's impressive, Stephen, in a cast at Delroy Lindo and loads of veteran actors.
He held his own.
He held his own in that movie.
John, The Harder They Fall. This was a film that Gianni had in his top 10 films of last year. Still not seen it. I know that he's in this. Nat loves
this is a Western, isn't it?
Yeah, I've still not seen it. I think it's is this the one that's the all black?
It's all black Western,
Yeah, I think that's fantastic, and I don't know why I've not seen it.
That's just subverting the expectation or sort of the preconceived ideas of what a Western is. It's traditionally been a sort of white dominated genre. Just to do something different with that.
I'm looking at his filmography just now.
Last Black Man in San Francisco as well.
He's not really done a lot, in the time. I mean, he is. He's just about the same age as you, John. I think he's slightly younger, but he looks a lot. Looks a lot older. It just looks like he's got an old head on young shoulders. I think just when we saw him in The Five Bloods, as you said, Delroy Lindo, I felt that he just held his own against this amazing actor who should have fucking won an Academy Award for that performance. And then obviously the supporting cast in that film as well, who were all fantastic.
The late great Chadwick.
Yeah.
Stephen, you're getting to act alongside guys like that. I mean, it's got to leave an impression on you. And obviously, then knowing with sort of foresight what was happening to that guy, that must have an impact on an actor and make them cherish every single moment they have on this earth, cherish every single role that is bestowed to them. Want to grab the bull by the horns. Obviously the sort of connection with Chadwick, him playing Black Panther, it being cut short with obviously his passing from cancer, seeing the sort of opportunity he had, what he did in such a short time with that character, then it been ripped away from him, tragically. All the potential was there with that character moving forward in the next 10 years or so. He will want to almost, I would hope, grab the bull with the horns and not do it for Chadwick. I'm not going to say it's all about Chadwick, but I mean, go and make this character something special, because he's got big shoes to fill. Thanos was impressive, one of the best cinematic villains we've had over the last 20-30 years. Multi-movie villain, really well thought out 3D villain, not cardboard, not sort of binary view, black and white, good evil view in the world. It was complex. You could see why he was doing what he was doing, trying to create more resources for the universe, but just the murderous fucking wiping out half the universe thing, that obviously you can't get on board with that. That's genocide. Really interesting villain, Thanos. How they move forward with this, man, it's going to be so interesting to see how they implement this in this more cosmic story, multiverse.
They're doing something different, aren't they?
They are.
You know, they could have went down the safe route of just doing a Thanos 2.0, if you like, you know, just another version of that character, you know, having his sort of vision of what the universe should be, and in his own head thinking that he's in the right, you know, what he's doing is the right thing for all mankind. But John,
that's not going to work. I'm just going to go back to the split screen.
I was just going to.
That's why the quote I was going to say, the diversity thing. Yeah. It's different.
Yeah.
They're not related. Totally different villain.
Yeah. Yeah.
You've got to shake it up. You've got to do things differently. That's where DC always consistently kicks the living shit out of Marvel. It's the villains.
Now, am I right thinking Peyton Reed, who's on to direct again, is he the first director in the MCU to direct a trilogy of the same films? I'm trying to remember if Iron Man had the same director. I don't know.
Iron Man, the first one was Kenneth Branagh, so I would suggest not.
That was Thor, sorry. Thor, yeah.
What was it? The first one was Favreau, I think.
Favreau, yeah.
Favreau, I don't think he did the others.
Yeah, so it could be Peyton Reed is probably the first one to do a trilogy.
What about the Captain America? That started off with Whedon, didn't it?
It started off Captain America, the first Avenger.
It was someone totally different.
Joe Johnson.
Then it went to Whedon, didn't it?
I think so, yeah.
I think
it might have.
Was he involved in Infinity?
Was it not the Russos that did the Winter Soldier?
It may have been, but there was one. I'm sure there was one of the directors of one of the Captain America movies was involved in Ultron, Age of Ultron. I don't know if that was the Russos. I'm going to search it up now.
John,
Captain America.
This is expected to be out, I think, the third week in February next year. So it's not long to go. You're talking 5 months at the most before this film comes out.
Tony Russo. So it was the Russos who did Civil War. The Winter Soldier was the Russos. Fucking hell, had a mare here. And then obviously she says it was Joe Johnson.
Yeah, Joe Johnson, who did the fabulous Rocketeer. I don't know if anyone remembers that film from the early 1990s. I went to cinema to see it with Kevin, a fellow movie burner, and we thought it was amazing. I think Jennifer Connelly might have been in that actually.
That movie
it was a good film. Timothy Dalton as well. Joe Johnston, as I recall, I know we're going off on a tangent, I think he was under George Lucas at Lucasfilm or ILM or something like that as a
Spider-Man
effects.
I think that was the same one. John Watts did all of them.
John Watts, there you are.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Technically not, but Marvel. But yeah, I mean, my point is, sometimes it's a good thing to have the same director on board.
Yeah.
To keep that consistency. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes you have
James
to mix
Gunn, of course, is doing Guardians.
There you go. James Gunn is
before he gets sacked.
I'm talking absolute shite.
No, but Stephen, you're right. Because you're right about the creative and sort of consistency.
He did some Mandalorian episodes, didn't he? Did that famous Luke Skywalker one, as I recall. It was fantastic.
If he was involved with that, then that just shows you how good a director he is, because that's one of the best ones.
Yeah.
Just the sound of the X-Wing coming, swooshing past.
Yeah.
One X-Wing? Yeah, that's fucking Luke Skywalker, bitch.
That's
Sit
like
the fuck down.
Of 50 X-Wings, okay?
Yep. That's the light side version of Darth Vader. Would you say that about Darth Vader coming in, these TIE Interceptor?
Yeah, exactly.
You fucking would not.
Bill Murray, John. Bill Murray, he's not got a cast name yet, a character name, sorry.
I didn't know he was in it.
What do you expect from Bill Murray being in this film? Do you
expect playing Bill Murray?
Do you think it's going to be like your man, I'm blanking on his name, was in The Usual Suspects, tall fella, was in The Last Jedi with the stutter, DJ.
Benicio del Toro?
Yeah, Benicio.
Yeah.
In the first Guardians film, do you think he'll have that kind of role just in it? And
yeah,
then
he
out
played
the
Collector, didn't he?
The Collector, yeah.
Could be.
Yeah.
But again, this is a trilogy. This is the sort of bookend potentially of this story of Scott Lang. I mean, we've seen it transcend trilogies before now.
Yeah.
It may not be the end, but if it is the end, it's a strange place to put that. I mean, we never did get a closure from that collector thing.
No.
I think that was just a greater universe building thing. They were expanding on the fact he had a stone.
Yeah.
And then it's an Infinity Saga. We get back to that, don't we, in Endgame or something like that.
Yeah.
Or maybe Infinity War.
Yeah,
we get back and he'd already been.
Yeah.
And also we have the Gamora, I think, stuff with Thanos.
Yeah.
And I think he whoops your man Peter's arse all over the place.
I mean, I would like to see Bill Murray being one of those sort of Red Skull type characters coming in, that comes in every now and again, makes his mark and then goes away again.
Yeah.
I love Bill Murray. That's why just any excuse to have him in.
You talk about aging, Stephen. That guy did not age well. I looked back. I think he was roughly, I don't know if it was him
and
or Aykroyd. May have been Aykroyd, who was my age in Ghostbusters, the original.
Yeah.
To be fair, Dan's age not too badly. Bill never looked good.
No, he's
What the fuck?
Bad hair, bad skin.
Bad skin, really bad skin. I think he probably had acne or something and was getting tore in.
Just an amazing guy.
But Jonathan Major, Stephen, there's nothing wrong with having lines in your head. That means he's very expressive. Also, being a thespian, it's a necessity to be expressive with your emotions. You've got to be able to convey to the audience what's going on with the character. I presume if he's had a short actual theatrical career as an actor, this guy's got to have been trained in some way. He's got to have had theatre experience.
Yeah, that's what
he just strikes me as a theatre actor, because he goes on that stage at Hull H Comic Con and he absolutely owns the room.
Yeah,
fucking owns it with that.
That's not just confidence, that's charisma. That's been trained in the arts.
That's why he's a villain.
Yeah, exactly.
People didn't believe
a villain that can play various versions of himself.
Stephen,
as well.
what did you make of the version in Loki? Because obviously he comes in,
I didn't
it's
understand
Sylvie,
it at first,
I forget the actress's name that played Sylvie, but you've got Tom Hiddleston and this actor in here.
Yeah.
Two really good actors who've dominated, been brilliant throughout the whole TV show. He comes in out of nowhere and he is completely owning them in that scene.
Di Martino,
Di Martino. He's owning them.
John, funnily enough, when he did come on screen, I didn't really fully grasp the whole variant thing at that stage. It wasn't until I watched the series again, just to sort of, because there's so many levels to it and there's so much going on. But my first impression was, is this it? Mm-hmm. Really? He's a very calm villain, and a very cocksure villain as well. But I don't really see a conqueror in this character at this stage. But obviously, once you get to understand that, he's just a version of himself, then. You just accept it for what it is. He
does say at one point, doesn't he? There's a lot of other versions of me that are not as nice as me.
Yeah, well,
and you're basically opening up a can of worms here.
I've not seen that yet.
We've not, we're about to see it, Stephen. Yeah. And getting back to that, the warrior version, the fact he's training, he's getting into shape, even better shape. He was never in bad shape. We've seen that in Defy Buds a good 2-3 years ago. He was in very good shape. He had arms then.
Yep.
And he was rocking very tight t-shirts and stuff like that. This guy's always been in shape. If he's training even harder, that again shows you the dedication he's taking into this role. He's also going in 120%. That's not possible, I understand, but I'm going to say it anyway, just to show that he's given all and some to make this the best performance it can possibly be. And Stephen, you speak about, and I don't want to keep going down this sort of fucking political route. Get the fuck fly in front of me, it's doing my nothing. It's the aftershave I'm wearing. Fucking Boss bottled wannabe aftershave, just trying it out until I actually get the real version, and it's clearly just drawn to me like a fucking moth to light. I don't want to keep going down that route, but when you're losing powerful figures like Chadwick Boseman, man, it's really important that they are replaced in this kind of scenario, a big blockbuster, multi-demographic movie, to inspire the next generation of actors. If I've not been inspired by a Denzel and even Will Smith, despite all the controversy, apparently he's absolutely outstanding in this next movie. I think it's a slave movie that's coming out. Yeah. He's really elevated his game, man, as an actor over the last 25 years or so, from Men in Black to where he is now, an Academy Award winner. If they've not been inspired by that, maybe the younger generation missing those performances, if they can go in and watch a movie like this and they see this guy playing a villain throughout multiple versions, multiple movies, that is fucking, you can't speak highly enough about what that can do for a whole new generation of black actors coming up. And we need more, Stephen.
Yeah.
We need more representation on the screen.
It's going to be interesting as well with the sort of synopsis of this film taking place mostly in the quantum realm as well, exploring creatures within this universe, which we've not touched on. It's really just been about being in it, looking for a person, getting out kind of thing. You've not really spent too much time in it in terms of establishing what is living in this this version, this miniature universe. It's going to be interesting. John, this was something that you know, when they were talking about Lucas's sequel trilogy and talking
it was
about
microcosmic,
microcosmic, and it was something I thought,
I think people took that too literal.
Yeah, I think they did, John, but there was something about that really intrigued me though, in terms of the midi-chlorians and stuff like that, and how these things operate and that kind of thing. And I think I was one of the ones that took it probably too literal. I thought this is going to be absolutely crazy. But listen, we're in an age of multiverses now. We're in an age of quantum realms, you know, and I think as audience members we have matured anyway to accept what's in front of us, whether it be in Lucasfilm or whether it be in the MCU or DC, whatever it is. It's just a great time to be alive for cinema and, you know, storytelling, because I think just with the technology they're able to do these things now. We've seen it already in the MCU. Some maybe harsh critics out there for some of the CG that's been run lately, and you can understand why they're bringing some of the talented Indian production from the likes of Triple R over to do some Marvel stuff as well. But I think just
all the help they can get with it.
I think it's going to be very bombastic. Don't know where we're going to go after this film, if they're going to have an Ant-Man 4 or they're going to just have a break from it. I don't understand.
What do you think of the evolution of the character, Stephen? From where he was at the start, just out of jail, couldn't get a job, shit kicker, ends up in this fucking house breaking in with his friends, happens upon this suit, to where he is now, where he's been, saving half the universe from extinction, friends that he'd met along the way, to where he is now in a miniature quantum realm, encountering some Time Lord, time traveller, warrior. That is some evolution for a character from first movie to third movie. That's probably the biggest evolution we've seen of any character in their own universe, in their own little stories.
So, definitely.
Captain America didn't go on that evolution. Obviously, he woke up from fucking being frozen in ice 80 years later, and obviously his overall arc's incredible. Tony Stark certainly didn't go on that evolution in his own movies. Thor's not went on that. You could say Thor maybe has. He's lightened up so much. He's totally different to where he was. But that's a drastic change in a character.
For me, the films in the MCU that have impressed me probably the most for visuals is probably Ant-Man and Ant-Man.
Oh, the first sequence in the
just
bath.
For the sort of amazing visuals, just for the miniaturization of the character, and obviously the enlarged sets. I know there was a lot of CG going on as well, obviously, but just the way that they executed it was amazing. So I'm expecting a lot the same and probably more in this, especially if we're going to spend a lot of time in this this universe. You know, I can't wait to see this film. I love the first two films, especially the first film. It was one of those ones, along with Doctor Strange, the first movie, that took us away from the sort of usual formula that we had in place with the Tony Starks, Thor, and
Chris, you talk about evolutions. Fuck, Doctor Strange in his first movie evolves at an unbelievable rate. Fucking sped up evolution.
It's amazing.
Goes from such a narcissistic
It reminds me so much of the Matrix in the sense of how the character grows from beginning to end. Just becomes the one at the very end from a computer hacker. And I see that in Doctor Strange as well.
Absolutely. Stephen Strange is still one of my all-time favourite Marvel movies. Just absolutely incredible. It's a top 6-7 Marvel movie. I mean, if I was to go off the top of my head just now and think, I'd put Ant-Man high up. It's not breaking into the top 6-7, sadly, despite how much I like it. But I mean, off the top of my head, if I was to think favourite ones, I still put Civil War right up there, Winter Soldier, they're all top 5. Obviously Infinity War's in there because I think that's the best of the sort of double header. Infinity Saga.
It's a shocker, movies. It's an absolute shocker of an ending.
You speak about doing things differently, man, to actually take the villain and make him win at the end. That's brilliant. You know they're going to reset it and reverse things in the second movie.
We had a whole year to wait, John.
A whole year of him gloating. And I remember the trailers, man, just the change in tone of the soundtrack when he came on the screen. Just amazing for Bron. incredible. So that's in there. I would put Strange in there, man. I'd put it right up there. Honestly, I can't think of many others. Ragnarok's up there as well. That's Taika at his absolute fucking best. Crazy.
In terms of
Ant-Man's top 10.
In terms of the cinematic experience, though, John, this is the first time we're going to be seeing Jonathan Majors playing the role properly, you know, in a feature film, not just obviously an appearance in
this is his boo,
a web series, but this is the one that's going to make or break the character. I've got all confidence that he's going to hit the ball out the park. With his acting abilities.
That's why it's important he's the warrior version, Steve.
Yeah, I think
we need to see it up.
Yeah, he's got to get in all guns blazing.
As transfixing as he was in Loki in that episode, and he dominated the screen. He totally outshone Tom Hiddleston and Sophia DiMartino.
Yeah.
I thought I was saying like some Sicilian fucking gangster's name there, and I probably was, to be fair. As much as he was riveting in that episode, that can't translate that character in this universe into an Ant-Man movie. It just doesn't fit tonally. It fitted with what they were doing in Loki, but it was a little bit more existential and serious, talking about timelines and multiple versions and getting out of this crazy fucking situation they're in, time variance authority. For an Ant-Man movie,
had a trailer yet?
For Ant-Man, no, I don't think so. Not that I'm aware of, anyway. We need this bombastic version.
Yeah,
we need him wrecking shop all over the place, absolutely destroying body counts in there. As long as it's not any of the main players from the actual movie, I don't want to see Janet, Hope, Hank, or Scott biting the bullet. I mean, I'll take one of the friends going if we must.
Oh, no, because I like both of them.
Probably the Smalkin.
He likes to type films.
Yeah, but the Smalkin's just fucking a joke. He's like a sort of superhero version of Jesse Plemons. This fucking guy turns up everywhere. Every site, every movie he's in. I mean, he was in the Batman. Was he in the Batman?
He was, yeah.
He was in he went to the Batman. Knight. He was in the Dark Knight. Yeah. He was in something recently, though.
Yeah, it was in the Suicide Squad.
The Suicide Squad, Polka Dot Man. Oh, he was great in that. So this guy's going to get work after. Penna. He seems a bit.
I like him though.
He's like the 2000s version of fucking like Chevy Chase, where he just disappears. He's in danger of disappearing. We can't allow his career to go off a cliff after this movie. Hello, Daniel. Welcome in. What about the Kang? So what about the Kang variant? They're just saying he's a warrior. This is a warrior version. He's trained with a strength and conditioning coach, Jamie Sawyer. I'm reading it here. Yeah. Can you tell? Trained hard, and it's going to be a completely different version of what we've seen today. It's going to be a warrior Kang, and that's what I was saying. That's required for this movie. This is a bookending movie for Scott Lang, a trilogy ender potentially, maybe the end period for his movies, and to go out with Kang as your villain. That's a big vote of confidence from Feige and the Marvel creative to be bringing in a villain of that stature. He's going to be getting into your Avengers movies at the end of this saga, starting his journey cinematically with your movie. There must be something special going on in this script.
Do you know something? You've made me think as well, John, that I think we're going to see some variants throughout this phase, and then when we do get to an Avengers film, the Conqueror, you might actually visually all these versions of him become the one, and he just becomes a right bad MF. You know, how about that?
Speaking of variants, I'll get that other thing in a moment, because I agree. Speaking of variants, Steve, do you think we'll get Tobey Maguire back as Spider-Man?
As a kind of variant?
As a variant? In a movie?
Yeah, in a movie, yeah.
With Raimi?
I think we will, yeah. I think there was talk about that. I think they were actually talking about doing a Sony Spider-Man 4 as well, both of them. But out of two of them, I'd probably go with the more variant thing, I think. Yeah. Leave that trilogy in the past, the Sony one. Toby's a great guy. I love it, everything he's in. I'd like to see him do it again. I'd like to see Andrew Garfield back in some capacity, but I think Andrew Garfield's more realistically, if he's coming back, it would be the Sony Sonyverse or whatever. I think Andrew Garfield could actually save the Sonyverse, the Spider-Verse.
Stephen, you've just brought that to my mind. That's the perfect way of continuing the movies over there and keeping Tom Holland, because they've got a real issue with no Spider-Man, and sadly it looks like your man, I'm blanking on his name. Why am I blanking on his name? From Into the Spider-Verse, why am I blanking on that other version of Spider-Man?
Miles
Morales.
Yeah, alright.
Fucking
Sorry,
hell.
I thought you were talking
It's a
about an
drink.
actor. I was like, I don't know the voice actors. All of them
I
anyway.
don't think Miles
Yeah.
is going to make a jump to live action anytime soon. I think he's been kept
It
for
will
the
come
Into
though.
the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, I
He's
think it
such a
will
cool
come.
version
Yeah.
of the character. I think it has to at some point. But Daniel says it sucks that since Blade stopped production, everything has been delayed. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Blade. I'm an optimist, an eternal optimist. A glass half full, even though it is half empty, to be fair.
It's half full.
It's half full. I'm hoping that they're delaying Blade to incorporate him into a sort of Midnight Suns thing we were talking about the
Yeah.
other night. Continuing this monster side of the MCU after Werewolf by Night. Because that was so interesting. I loved that movie, man.
Yeah.
Thought it was wacky,
It's-
brilliant, violent. That's a great kickstarter into a Blade movie.
Well, the thing about production, it affects everything in the MCU because everything's connected. We saw it with Doctor Strange 2, the Multiverse of Madness had a delay because of WandaVision, because the whole WandaVision thing wouldn't make sense. Oh, sorry, Wanda and Doctor Strange wouldn't make sense before we had WandaVision, and obviously with
They rejigged it,
coronavirus,
didn't they?
they had to rejig a
It was
few
supposed
things.
to be Guardians coming out first. That was going to
They have
kickstart
to
the
do.
phase.
They have to do, but they have to be very careful that they don't introduce. They could have introduced Wanda and Doctor Strange 2 before we even saw WandaVision, which would have been very dangerous thing to do. It wouldn't have
The
made
sort
any
of
sense.
darker version, it's dabbling.
I mean, I think in our heads, we would have thought she's suffering trauma because of obviously what happened
You
to
should see the
Vision.
kids,
But
obviously.
I think just the way
It's
they
a
did it was
great
well.
moment, Stephen.
Yeah.
When the kids, she goes in and another version of her, the actual mother to the kids, is there, and she's rejected.
Yeah.
She's seen as being this sort of monster figure by her own children. That was a brilliant scene. I love that. It was an average movie, to be fair. Good. I'll say good. It wasn't average. It was good.
It wasn't as good as the first movie. It was still a
Yeah.
good film. It was better than the Eternals.
I've still not seen the Eternals. I have to watch it because
It's a
I'm
hard
missing
watch.
things here.
It's a hard watch, John. But
Just for Richard alone. Richard's
I
in there,
think-
and Camille.
yeah, and your man that played Joker just there as well, isn't it? As well,
Yeah, Barry Keoghan.
Barry Keoghan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you hear the possibility of Wesley Snipes coming back
Yeah.
for Avengers Secret Wars? I'd love to see Wesley back.
There was a collection of they were talking about, and I think
Because
this
it's a
was
variant.
yeah, they were
If you're
talking
doing it
about
with Tom Holland, you're doing it with Andrew Garfield. Why not do it
they
with
were,
Wesley?
yeah, they were talking about previous actors who played the roles and then bringing them in just for the Secret Wars thing. Yeah, I mean, it could work. I don't think it's going to harm the narrative in any way, bringing them in. It's fan service, but fan service used in a correct way. They're not just bring them in just for the sake of it. People will be able to go, wow, this takes me back to the late 90s when Wesley was doing his thing with that
I
character.
fucking love those movies.
Yeah,
man.
they were fantastic,
brilliant.
John.
I remember watching
and
them.
I think as well, if they do that, it's going to bring those Blade films into the MCU the same way they did with the Sony Spider-Man stuff as well. Because I remember sitting in the theatre last December watching No Way Home going, I can't believe the Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire films are now connected in some way to the MCU. I couldn't believe it was happening, and I think the same with
That's mad,
Wesley
isn't it?
Snipes.
They're filming Secret Wars as early as next year. Or 2
Yeah.
years from now. Fuck, I'm losing the plot. 2024.
Yeah.
That's still soon.
Yeah, it's
Just
yeah,
2
yeah,
years
we're,
out.
We're nearly at 2023.
It feels like just yesterday
Yeah.
we started with Black Widow. And it was, to be fair, because of coronavirus delaying everything a year. It feels like we're getting everything expedited here. All the movies, all the projects are coming thick and fast, and they are. We're getting loads of TV shows, movies, the full shebang. I still can't believe Black Panther's coming out in a week.
And Wesley's looking good as well just now because we saw him in Coming to America and he's
He was
not
good in that,
aged.
wasn't
He's just not he's a bastard, but it was good. I like
Stephen, though, that's the Black Don't Crack stuff. I always remember the good Nigerian guy in the depot. And I used to say to him, mate, how old are you? He was like 40. I'm
Yeah.
like, what the fuck?
It looked like he was in his 20s.
He looks younger than me.
Yeah.
He's like, Black Don't Crack, mate. And I'm like, you're fucking right, it don't. You're fucking right, it don't.
I saw
I
that with
crack.
Arsenio Hall as well.
Stephen.
I couldn't believe
Eddie
that.
Murphy.
Yeah.
Guy's like 60.
Yeah.
And he doesn't look it. He looks like 40 odds. It's incredible, mate. That's been harsh on him saying 40 odds. He doesn't even look that. He probably does. But I mean, you could bring him in. It wouldn't be jarring. It wouldn't be like fucking Robert De Niro in The Irishman trying to play a 20-year-old. He could pull it off. He's still got that athleticism. They don't want him. Secret Wars 30th anniversary. I think that would be brilliant as a little nod. 30 years after he makes an appearance. It's a variant. Won't hurt the narrative, as you said, Stephen. Won't overshadow Mahershala or whatever he's doing. And he can just add it in as a little Easter egg.
Yeah,
I think that'd be great. And it ties back. I don't know if you were talking about that, Stephen, or talking about Kang. all the variants of Kang come together.
Yeah.
But multiple variants from different movies all coming and making an appearance, the likes of Maguire and stuff.
Yeah.
Snipes' Blade is on Earth 26320 and Tobey Maguire's is on Earth 96383. I'd love to see them coming in, man.
Yeah.
Just to explore all these characters. That's something I'm well up for. But we're going to have to run.
Yeah,
We are going to have to run. We're going to have to film an Andor episode 6 watch on.
Before we turn into
This
pumpkins.
intro is just not. This intro's not fucking off. It's just continuing to roll. And this is what happens when your little macro set up with the stream deck is just not
wearing
working.
this t-shirt as well, John, because you know the little logos on the t-shirt I've got. It looks like when you're buffing. When
Yes.
your skin's buffing. I noticed it the last time.
I'm
I
wearing
bought
a
it.
t-shirt that's had a lot of plaudits in the past. It's just
Yeah.
a Vans t-shirt. It's
Yeah,
just
but is it what colour is it? Is it grey and blue? Is it red and green? There's
a
a
lot-
question for you guys.
It's had a lot of plaudits for some reason. I don't know why. It's just a striped fucking black and greyish white t-shirt with off the wall on it. I don't know. But yeah, that's going round it up.
Yeah.
We've been speaking for about 40 minutes, wow,
Yeah,
on
yeah,
one
yeah.
topic
Yeah, not
regarding
bad.
Kang the Conqueror. That's what happens
Yeah.
when you introduce Jonathan Majors.
Thanks to Daniel.
And when
coming in as
Daniel
well.
comes
Yeah.
in and helps us, because we need people coming in, this fucking helps us tremendously. And we can just bounce off and speak about different things. It's always appreciated. It was deathly silent until you came in, Daniel, so we do appreciate you, mate, coming in. But that's going round it up 10 minutes ago as well. Fuck me, 10 minutes. That's the quickest 10 minutes of my life. And I can tell you the slowest 10 minutes, but I didn't go down there. That's depressing stuff. That was last night. I wanted to leave. But look, I digress. What's your thoughts on Kang the Conqueror appearing as a warrior variant in the upcoming Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania? Share your thoughts down below about this general vibe of multiple variants. Jonathan Majors, this version, how he will be implemented into this movie, how will it work, thoughts on the movie. Anything at all you feel compelled to share can go down below in the comments section. It's the place to put it. You can also like the video if you've enjoyed it on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon to get notifications straight to your eyeballs. Over on Twitch, do the same thing. Follow button, notifications button over there. And all that leaves me to say is until the next time, me and Stephen are done. Bye. I'll read that topic. That topic. Christ, I'm reading your name, Daniel. Daniel's Hot Topics. Then I'm saying I'll read that topic. I think Tobey Maguire and his Earth will be in Secret Wars. It would be interesting to see his Earth again and how it evolved. I completely agree. I'd like to see him get his own movie, Daniel. There you go. Because it's Tobey Maguire.
Jonah Jameson with some hair again.
Jonah Jameson with some fucking hair. Yeah. I want Jonah's fucking recipe because I need it to get some fucking hair back. I look better with hair. Trust me. I'm done though. Bye bye.